Okay, guys, I've been waiting for this for a long time, even more so since Texas football's down. Texas Longhorns basketball season starts tonight. Last year was a disappointing year. We had one of the best groups in the country. Um, we had three great freshmen on last year's team: Jacobin Brown, Avery Bradley, Jordan Hamilton. Jordan Hamilton and Avery Bradley both here in the draft. Hamilton dropped out, so we got him this year, and Avery Bradley, he went through with the draft. He got drafted by the Boston Celtics. Best of luck to him. Last year, let me just walk you through the problems we had last year. We fell through because why? Because this team gave up effort. This team just stopped trying. Dexter Pittman was one of the best big guys in the country, but he took the second half of the year off. Avery Bradley just started playing for his NBA draft stock. He quit playing for the team. We had a bunch of injuries that didn't help the situation any, but that's not why we were in the boat that we were in. You know, so that team had some problems. We had some great defenders, and the problem was Damian James. As much as I loved him, I think he did too much for the team. Against Michigan State, North Carolina last year, back-to-back games, 25 plus points, 12 plus rebounds in both those games. He played amazing basketball. He was a Player of the Year candidate. I believe that he won, the Senior Class Award for the nation last year. I'm not positive about whether or not he won that, but I think he did. But we didn't have the best freshman in the country. After John Calipari got done cheating to get the best ones, we were just stuck with the second the second class, I guess. I can't stand that guy. Anyway, but Damian James did too much. He rescued this team. Then everyone started relying on him too much. And when he finally decided, that he wasn't going to do it all, the team just sort of fell through. And I think it was probably the best thing for the team that he decided not to rescue them, no matter what. It'll help them out a lot this year. This would be a lot, in my opinion, I think this can be a lot like the year that we had Kevin Durant. Last year was the year that we were supposed to be lights out and amazing. We had Kevin Durant, and everyone's thinking, man, how's anyone going to beat this team? It's got Kevin Durant. But people relied too much on him. We had a great team, could have won the championship, but everyone just sort of stood around and watched him. While he was amazing, one guy is never enough to win a championship. One guy does not make a team. And I think that's what's going to happen this year. We're going to have to be playing more like a team. Because I've watched interviews with I've watched interviews with Tristan Thompson. He's not like Kevin Durant was. I'm a big Kevin Durant fan now. When he was in college, I was a big Durant fan. But the thing is, he believed in himself too much. He knew he was the best guy on the team, and he knew he was going to do whatever he had to take care of that. And he was just almost too good for his own good in college. He's making it big now, but one of the greatest single season efforts ever put together, in my opinion. But Tristan Thompson is a team player. He's going to want his guys to get involved, and I don't think he's going to be the leader of this team, anyways. In my humble opinion, the guy that I think is going to have to lead this team, I think it's going to have to be Jacobin Brown. I disagree sometimes with some of with Rick Barnes' coaching decisions, with the guys he decides to play and all that. But we got a great team this year. I'm looking at the roster here. Doge Balbay, great defender, great floor leader. He's going to play. Jacobin Brown, great offensive player. Then we got Jordan Hamilton. He's just lights out. He's going to be a great guy. He's going to be phenomenal this year. They got Gary Johnson, Corey Joseph, who was Tristan Thompson's high school players, sort of Greg Oden, Mike Conley thing going on here. We have Jay Lucas, who's a senior. He was a transfer last year from Florida. And we got Alex Wongmani and Sean Williams. And Wongmani, last year, he came in huge, just big. I know everyone knows the story. The owner of the Spurs is his legal guardian. He trained with Marines in the offseason last year to get as big as he was. He went from just being a skinny little nothing to He's 6'7", 240 pounds. That's not fat. This guy is big, and he's only a junior. He's going to be a good asset for us this year. And Sean Williams, he's coming back as a freshman. He was redshirted last year due to injury problems that he had. I don't see Varez Ward on this list. I'm pretty sure he's on the team. I don't see him on this roster, but I'm almost positive he's on the team. He got injured second game of the year last year. I think it was against Pittsburgh, or second real game of the year. They played Iowa and then Pittsburgh. He got injured against Pittsburgh, ruptured some sort of muscle in his thigh, I believe it was. So his thigh ruptured a muscle. He was out for the whole year. I'm pretty sure he's on the team, but I don't see him here. We'll see. With or without him, I think we should be great. I don't know what the starting lineup is, but what I think the starting lineup should be is we should go with Corey Joseph at point guard, Hamilton at shooting guard, Doge Balway at small forward. Texas always likes going with that third guard. He's at the small forward position, but he's not actually playing small forward. And if we have Varez Ward, I would start him instead of Joseph. But from what I'm looking at the roster, I would pick Corey Joseph, Jordan Hamilton, Balbay, because he's just a great defender. He can defend anyone. And then Gary Johnson and Tristan Thompson. I would not start Gary Johnson. I would start Alexis Wangmani and Tristan Thompson, and then have Johnson coming off the bench. He'd be a great guy coming off the bench, as well as Jacobin Brown. And then you've got Matt Hill, Clint Chapman, and Johnson coming off the bench as our big guys, and then Jay Lucas. I think we'd be a little bit short, a little not as deep as we'd like to be if we don't have Ward. But if we do, I don't know the word on him. He should be playing because I saw, in the off season that he got granted a medical red shirt for injury struggles last year. But if something happened, he may have gotten kicked off the team. I'm not sure. I haven't kept up a ton with him in the off season. I've been more with our awful football team, but but this team I could see doing great things. I definitely see an Elite Eight for this team because we've got these guys they're sophomores, most of these guys, but they've got a lot of experience off last year's team. And Corey Joseph and Tristan Thompson aren't like the freshmen we had last year. They're not just playing for themselves, ready to screw the team over and get ready for the NBA at any moment. This is a team players. You can tell when you hear interviews with them. And of course we got Jay Lucas coming off the bench. I don't remember if I mentioned him. He was not great last year, but he was a pretty good asset. And now with another year of getting used to our program and all that, he's going to be even better. And I don't know how big of an impact Sean Williams is going to have, but he's a 6'6" forward, small forward. So he could, and he was a great high school player. So he could be really a good asset for us. This team is going to be a great defensive team, in my opinion. Offensively is probably where we're going to struggle. I don't know who our go-to guy is going to be. It should be Jordan Hamilton, but I'm not sure. If he'll step up. He didn't seem like the leader type last year. He took charge in a couple games, but also did some awful play in a couple other games for us last year. So I'm not sure who the leader is going to be. I think it'll probably be Hamilton or Thompson, but we'll see as the year goes on. But preview for tonight's game is when it starts. We're playing against Navy. This is a team who was that close to making the tournament last year. Bucknell had a half-court shot on him that knocked him out of possibly making the tournament. But they return a lot of experience off last year's team. They have a lot of juniors and seniors from last year's team. They can shoot. They don't really have they don't really have a guy who's big and strong. But they've got some pretty good shooters from the outside. And most of their scheme is built around defense, kind of like the Boston Celtics, because they don't have a great offense. So if they can slow you down enough that they can bring you to a slow offense, and I don't think that's going to be Texas' game this year. I think they're going to be a running gun team. Tristan Thompson is a fast, big guy. He's the guy who can run the floor. All these guys can run the floor. Doge Baldwin is at his best when he can control the offense in an upbeat, fast tempo. So I think Texas they're going to be what they should have been last year. Last year they were at their best when they tried running the floor. I know they had Dexter Pittman, so they didn't want to do that too much. But once he decided to take the rest of the year off, I would have just stuck with running the floor and keeping Johnson, James in there. But that's last year. This is another year. I think Rick Barnes learned his lesson about recruiting running one and dones. And I can see. I definitely think Texas has a shot to the Elite Eight this year. They've got a great roster, especially if they have Perez Ward on the team. I sound like I don't know anything I'm talking about right now because it all balances on Perez Ward here because I don't know if he's on the team or not. He's not on the roster, but he should be returning off last year's team. I've seen an interview with him since last year's first round loss as well. So, but everything just so heavily sways whether or not he's on the team because he's a great defender, he's a point guard, he's a great mid-range jump shooter, and he can attack the basket extremely well. Also, he's kind of like Rajon Rondo in that regard. But I think a lot of what happens sways on whether or not he's going to be on the team. But we've got a great team this year, better than last year in my opinion. Last year we just relied too much on a bunch of freshmen to get the job done. This year we've got guys we know can get the job done, and I think they will. So I'm hoping this is our year, but I don't know. I don't think we'll win the championship this year. We can keep this group of guys together. Maybe we get back win the championship game next year. Win the championship next year. We don't know. But this year I'm definitely seeing good things. But it all relies on whether or not Perez Ward is going to make it. But Hook 'em Horns, we got a great game. Or I don't know if it's going to be a great game, but a great opportunity to watch the game. Really looking forward to seeing these guys for the first time this year. Going to be watching the game tonight, 9 o'clock.